Sanchimanyavo, Inapone, Lourdes Escalante Titeac. Hello, my name is Lourdes Escalante. I'm from the Pascua Yaqui tribe, and I'm the current co-director of programming projects for Alianza Indigenous Sin Fronteras, also known as Indigenous Alliance Without Borders. Growing up, when you are raised in like an indigenous community, you are taught certain things, or like you're taught advice or certain lessons. And for myself, growing up in the Yaqui community, I was taught consejos. So with that, you're taught how to be an indigenous person, or for myself, I was raised to be taught how to be a Yaqui person or like a Yaqui woman. So with that in mind, the following section, the Alianza members are going to share with you all those consejos or that advice. And the advice is intended for our future generations, for the youth. And we hope that those are lessons that you can take and basically learn how to be an Indigenous rights activist, or even, just be a good relative as an Indigenous person.
At the beginning, I really liked the idea of what the Alliance was going to do, or is doing, is working with the people in trying to better themselves in life situations. So hearing that, it just at the beginning, it just made me want to be a participant in that area, because we were doing the same thing with the O'odham in Mexico.
One, that when I would go to real Yaqui, the Yaqui people, I don't know if there was all of the pueblos, but they were very familiar with the Alianza by way of Jose Matus. The woman that I met years ago, she may have been related to Jose, was María Matus, who I believe was the oldest living Yaqui woman at that time. She was 100 years old. Then the second thing would be the gatherings that the Alianza would sponsor, where people would come from various places. The vendors, of course, the entertainment, people that would be on their speaker list. Those kinds of things, which was held right outside of where the Alianza office is today, right there in South Tucson. So those are the two things.
La unidad siempre es buena cuando se tiene amor. Yo miré amor en todo esto y tenía muchas esperanzas, las sigo teniendo. Que cuando esfuerzos fuertes se unen, pueden pasar muchas cosas buenas. Yo me imagino que hemos tenido algunas cosas buenas. Los pueblos indios se han mejorado con toda esta alianza. No hay duda. Simplemente que hay veces que no difundimos mucho, pero hay que hacerlo.
Had it not been for the Yaqui people and the O'odham people, which were very few, Alianza would not be what it is today. And that needs to be said and understood, even with the barriers that were placed by individuals, whether it was the tribal governments or grassroots people, working with the city of South Tucson and the city of Tucson, and then trying to pull everything together to do what it is today. And so there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Están unidos todavía en esta alianza de fuerza, son como sacrificios que los seres humanos hacen para para la justicia de la gente. Entonces, que se estén juntos es bien difícil porque todos pensamos diferente. Pero me da mucha alegría que todavía estamos juntos, que están juntos aquí y que pueden todavía funcionar como indígenas. ¿Sí?
And what I would say to the young people, and I've been saying it since I became the lieutenant governor back in '93, is that you have to have a respect for your elders, because they might not know as much English or Spanish as some, but they know their history. And some of the history that I have picked up all came from elders. In the way that I did that, is I listened to them. I did more listening than talking. And I know a lot of people nowadays, the young people, especially with their education and in technology and going to college, university, they seem to think that, that they know everything. And that's some of the ways that they miss out on listening to the elders, because the elders have knowledge that has been passed on to them from their elders. So it's the information is there with them, the elders. All you have to do is take time and be patient with them.
I remember this young man saying to me, I really want to be like you. I really want to do the things that you do, David. And I said, well, what are you willing to do? How far are you willing to go? And he looked at me very strangely. And I said to him, well, are you willing to die for the causes that others have already gone before us? Are you willing to fight for the struggles where a lot of us are in prisons? Some of us have lost our families, our children. You need to think about that. And so I said, there's very few of us that speak for the unseen and the unheard. But for young people who are very progressive right now, yes, they're very progressive, but they don't really speak for Indian country. When I say Indian country, what I mean by that in the sense of the history and of what Joe Garcia touched on earlier. A lot of their information is they gather from websites or others that they chat amongst themselves. They're eager to really bring what really has nothing to do with what may be going on within their communities. And the other thing that I also say is that you have to be alcohol and drug free, because you can't you can't continue to be drinking and involved with the drugs, and here you are traveling throughout the country representing whether it's your community or your people, and then do something else on the other side. It just doesn't work, and it'll get around, and it takes a long time to gain that trust from people, especially if you're not from that community. And you have to be very patient and understanding. The elders won't really sit you down, and they'll just listen to you, and they will draw their own conclusions in your character. And sometimes young people resent that, but that's just how it is.
Que no se nos olvide que no olviden a ninguno de los que participaron, estén, aunque ya no vivan, hay que recordarlos con mucho cariño y no se les olvide tampoco que don Anselmo Valencia era parte de todo, él fue la primera persona que yo admiro que tuvo parte en la Alianza. Que siempre lo recordemos fue un gran amigo, me regañaba mucho, pero no importa. Fue un gran amigo de nosotros y una buena guía. Y él es parte de estas alianzas de indios de allá y indios de acá. Y que no se nos olvide que somos indios y de que nos da mucha alegría que podamos. Yo para mí, la urgencia más grande es que no nos dejen, que no nos quedemos solos y que mueran nuestras culturas.
Porque mañana mañana pehi que na jun que como como nan fue más como mañana trama mañana más pia que mucho chuma como matamos amasai nyai rang tamas mamoi hawo mat ke inyo mat kamga ke chmo mat muich chung mas panit mat pihani pihawo menyo piha amichu patai mas ma mo smaim mo hutut itu mai po tam ka poi ke ya pawai ko menyo mat pas jamoi mat pas mas ma moi usha ke nyo ka pamui tamo kamu chưa cuma hujud amjud apa mas mamakta ya mau ama hujud una cosa mais cho am jud mau hujud tapi mau ispiu menyonyok mak si so mama e sono aku chip kan ama hujud kemat kam ya pa mai hujud hujud macai cuba tu tu hujud am tu hujud am sono im chip kan Nanya pierwszy mas ma pa to musi trzymać kom może jednak kom i hawo humać kom ka masupe am ti hihim mat pute di haku gadika mat pastu smai mat puto na kam matashkiawia po tashkia tihya hukot sisa sai cho mau chu humać kom mam tekos ami chu ta ma pihu mu cha mashi nan ko the guy to the año que puchi chuma como ya pierwszy mas ma apenitat mo se son pecho am chupito mucho chuma como go hai chu to go hai chu mas am nuich kan uchi ko na ma u chu to kuma como ko ma nyam mat pio I ko si sa sai yeah
like with me right now, I went through a couple of accidents that kind of left me forgetful. I start something and I forget, and I can't put words together as I did before. So it for me to explain things to people, but I still have the knowledge of what the elders gave me. So I think, or I know that you should take the time to listen to your elders, because they are the ones that will give you a history in things that you don't know. Well, maybe not book learning, but you're learning about who you are, where you came from, how your language is important. Without your language, without our land base, you're nothing. So this is the things that our elder can contribute to a young person, is the knowledge that he has or she has. Thank you.
All we can do is try to talk to young people, and hopefully maybe just one out of all of these young people will get the message and take the torch by their hand and try to lead the people in a good direction, and hopefully they won't have to struggle the way that a lot of us did.
Tenemos la obligación, pero la obligación de hablar, de recordarle a los jóvenes de dónde vinieron y cuál es su obligación para que no se muera su cultura. Enseñarles con amor, enseñarles con bonitas cosas, de que no son nomás gusanitos de la tierra, que tenemos responsabilidades en la tierra, como indígenas, como gente originaria que somos aquí. La tenemos que cuidar y tenemos que tener, no nomás vivir para divertirnos, sino para hacer algo para los que vienen. Esa es mi grande urgencia, de que no se olvide que los jóvenes tienen que tener, el amor nace cuando se habla, cuando continuamente se habla y se les dan consejos y historias bonitas. Demostrarles que somos bonitos los viejos también, los abuelos.